Alright, let's talk about another franchise that I've never seen before, and that is the Phantasm franchise. And today I'm going to talk about the first Phantasm, made in 1979, which is a movie that I've never heard great praise or bad praise for. Like, this is a movie that I literally just hear it exists. I've never really heard anything that makes it fantastic or makes it bad. I feel like the only thing I've heard from this movie is that it exists, and I've purposefully stayed away from anything about this movie and didn't look anything up before I watched it. But it's a franchise I knew I wanted to see. And watching the movie itself, I think that it is... I really don't know what to think. It's really an odd... It's an odd hybrid sci-fi horror movie that does some cool, really cool things, but it's also just kind of plain, too. Like, it's a plain... For my first watch, it feels like a plain type of movie with some cool effects. Like, it felt like the characters and the acting was not great, but I don't know if it was supposed to be, and I guess the acting kind of brings that surreal type of way this movie is. Like, it makes it more surreal, I guess, because the acting in this is not good, really. It feels like just these kids who are thrown off the street, like pulled off the street to be in this movie. It felt like an example of that, where like, oh, they literally have had no acting before, which isn't like the worst thing ever, but I'm like, it's just something to point out, like, oh, the acting's not that great, but maybe it does add some weird surrealism to it, because this movie is really odd and really different. Like, it's a different movie, a different horror movie, a different sci-fi movie, and I did appreciate that in that aspect. This is really an interesting and fascinating movie, and I don't think I loved it. I think I liked it. I thought it was fine. It's just not one that maybe if I watch it again, I might like it more, but the first watch, I thought it was just so-so. Like, it's got some cool things about it. It has some alright things about it, not good things. Like the acting, for example. And there's, like, the movie itself, it has, like, a story to it, but it just seems like there's not much of a story to it, if that makes sense. Like, it's just about this kid Mike, who starts having these hallucinations and dreams about this tall guy and these weird surreal images of him, like him in his bed, and like he wakes up and like he's in a different, like, universe or a different world, and like hands are pulling him or jumping out of the ground, grabbing him in the bed, while the tall man is on the foot of the bed, just standing up there, or like stuff like that. And then you have it to where the kid goes into that house or that mansion that is the place close to where the brother Tommy died. So he goes in there, and there's this other guy in there, and he gets killed by this floating ball that, like, this is weird to explain if you haven't seen the movie, but this, and I hope you've seen the movie because I'm going to spoil it, but there's this weird, like, silver ball that goes up to this guy and, like, has some spikes on it and impales him in the head and, like, makes a hole out of the other side so blood just, like, runs out of it. Like, that was cool, and that was interesting with the effect and with the, like, gore, because it's not really gory. It's just, like, this ball, like, hooks onto his face, and then, like, you see, like, blood flow out of the hole from the ball. I thought that was actually really cool and a really interesting image that I have not seen before in a horror movie. I think that was a really creative thing. Like, this movie is very creative and very unique. Like, this is a very unique horror movie and a very unique sci-fi movie. It does a lot of things that I have not seen before in these genres, and I really do like that. And I think that it also has, like, it does an interesting build-up to where these characters, like the Mike character, and then eventually Jody, the brother, they both start having these hallucinations of the tall guy, and then they eventually leads them back into that mansion, where with their friend Reggie, too, this other guy, they go in and realize the full like plot of like what this guy is doing, and that he is taking dead bodies and reanimating them into dwarves. Which, saying that out loud, that sounds really weird, but it's doing it like it's supposed to be odd, I think, on purpose like that. Like, it's an interesting, odd, like, way the villain is doing this, like making these dead bodies reanimated into dwarves to become slaves on this planet. And there's a portal in that mansion to the planet where the boy Mike sees. He goes in there, but then they pull him out before he gets stuck in there. And I think that it's really interesting in that fact. And I like the fact that you get such weird, creepy, surreal imagery. Like, it's not scary, but it's creepy and bizarre. And it's not, like I said, it's not something that I usually see in these types of movies, and horror movies. I feel like, and sci-fi, I feel like a lot of these things in this movie have not been replicated. At least to the fact of the movies I've seen. Like, I feel like this is a very unique and standout film, and I think that even though I didn't love it, I feel like that's something to give complete praise for. The uniqueness, the creativity, the effects. The effects for 1979 are really cool, especially with that silver ball like flying in the air and using spikes, or using effects to where they look like they're on a different planet. I think that is really cool. But the acting is not great, and the story is just alright. It's not anything special. It's just they've got to stop him. They got to throw him down into a hole and send him to hell. And that's pretty much it. And I don't think that, like, it doesn't have anything else to it in the story department. And like the moments in the movie I think are really good, and the moments that are not great are not terrible, but they're just something of note. So it's not, this first one I think is a very interesting hybrid. I'm just really mixed on it. I think it's a fine movie in terms of like creativity and individuality, but just bland story and bland acting. So it's not anything amazing in that department, but it's amazing in one department. So this is a really mixed bag that I think I did enjoy overall, and I think that I am excited to see where these sequels go, because there are 4 more, and I will watch the other 4 because I got the box set, DVD box set of all 5. And I'm really curious to see what these next sequels will do. Maybe I'll like them more, maybe I'll like them less, but we'll see. Overall, I'm excited to see the rest of this franchise because of the unique creativity this one gave me.